In video games, the tutorial level is usually a walk in the park. They teach you how to move the camera, how to jump, and congratulate you just for existing. But in Dark Souls, the tutorial is a statement of intent. It doesn't just teach you how to play, it teaches you how to feel. Today, we are going to analyze the Northern Undead Asylum in depth. A small, grey, and seemingly simple area, but one designed with very intentional psychological precision to break your spirit before you even wield a sword.
Wait! So you telling me the game isn't just make me suffer through boss fights? But the actual map itself has given me shock therapy since the loading screen?
Exactly. Let's look at how From Software transformed a handful of stone corridors into one of the most oppressive prisons in gaming history. Let's start with your cell. It's small, but what's truly terrifying is its verticality. The ceilings are absurdly high, and there are no side windows. In real-world prison architecture, the lack of visual contact with the horizon destroys an inmate's sense of time and space. Your only connection to the outside world is a skylight in the ceiling, completely out of reach. This generates a specific psychological torture. You see the light, you know there is an outside, but the architecture constantly reminds you that you can never reach it on your own. You are designed to look up and feel your own desperation.
Honestly, the only reason we even get out of there is because some random knight decides to drop a dead guy with a key in his pocket. We basically survive thanks to the medieval home delivery.
And that detail is key. The game strips away your agency from the very beginning. You don't escape through your strength or intelligence. You escape out of pure charity, in an environment designed for you to rot away. After navigating cramped, suffocating corridors, the game suddenly drops you into a large, open courtyard. Anyone would think, finally, fresh air. But architecturally, this space is designed to make you feel completely exposed. Because in a narrow corridor, you control your flanks. In this courtyard with a ruined roof, the threat comes from above. By placing the Asylum Demon on an upper parapet watching you, the designers play on our ancestral fear of aerial predators. The open space doesn't mean freedom, it means you're visible, vulnerable, and easy to crush.
I still have nightmares about that drop. I just wanted to enjoy the view, and suddenly, a 3-ton beast with a giant plunger as a weapon falls right on top of me.
And look at the genius of the design. The only way out at that moment is a tiny door on the left. The game forces you to flee, to shrink back into the stone corridors. It teaches you that open spaces are dangerous, and that safety in this world is narrow and dark. And at the end of your escape, you step outside for the first time, but instead of open fields or a paved road, you find yourself on a rugged cliffside, surrounded by a sea of fog and unscalable grey mountains. And this is where the asylum's architecture fully reveals itself. You aren't in an ordinary prison in the middle of a city. You are on an island of rock floating in the void, completely isolated from the rest of the world. There are no bridges, no roads. The geography brutally tells you, even if you escape the cells, you are still trapped at the end of the world.
It's the equivalent of escaping a prison only to realize it was built on top of a Mount Everest and you forgot to bring a jacket.
Exactly. Only a mythological element, the giant crow, can carry you out of there. The exterior architecture confirms that you are completely insignificant compared to the scale of this world. Now, you might think that once the crow carries you away, this map is useless, but From Software does something brilliant with the limited space. they reuse it from a whole new physical perspective. When you return to the asylum later, the courtyard floor you once walked on with relief collapses beneath your feet, revealing a flooded basement and a new boss. Your starting cell now holds the peculiar doll, and beneath those corridors and broken staircases lies the rusted iron ring. This demonstrates a masterful economy of space. The asylum isn't a linear use and discard level. It is a three-dimensional environment with hidden layers and shows that even the starting prison has secrets buried deep beneath its own floor.
So, the Undead Asylum is basically like that junk drawer in your kitchen. It looks like there's nothing useful inside, but if you dig deep enough, you end up finding valuable loot and a couple of Morten trying to hit you.
In the end, the Northern Undead Asylum is small, harsh, and hostile, but within its handful of stone chambers, the entire philosophy of Dark Souls is condensed: spaces that dwarf you, perspectives that trick you, and a constant heavy sense of isolation. It's not just a tutorial, it's a stone foundation upon which your entire journey is built.
So, next time you start a playthrough, don't just sprint like a maniac to the exit. Stand in yourself for a moment, look up and appreciate the beautiful draping architecture from software design just to remind you how tiny you are.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're trying to expand on other ways of building Dark Souls on this upcoming series that we have planned, analyzing the buildings, architecture, and level design of Dark Souls. So if you enjoyed this trip into the depths of game architecture, subscribe and let us know in the comments. What was your first reaction when stepping out onto the cliff of the asylum? It'll be nice to know. Anyways, my name is Martin, and see you around.